The control room was bathed in the cold blue glow of countless monitors, each displaying data streams that were rapidly deteriorating. An alarm blared, sharp and unrelenting, as technicians scrambled to make sense of the situation. "Sir, we've lost the probe!" a young officer shouted over the din, his voice tinged with panic. Captain Marcus O'Reilly stepped forward, his expression a mask of calm in the face of chaos. "What do you mean, lost?" His tone was measured, yet carried the weight of command that silenced the room. "The probe was exploring the Luton 4-8 system. Everything was normal then." The officer hesitated. "It just went dark. No warning, no signals, just gone." Marcus's jaw tightened as he absorbed the information. He turned to Dr. Elena Carter, the scientist responsible for the probe's mission. "What could cause a probe to go dark like that?" Elena, usually composed, was pale as she scanned the data. "It's not mechanical failure, Captain. The systems were functioning perfectly up until the last moment. Something interfered with it, something deliberate." The room fell into a tense silence, the implications of her words hanging heavy in the air. Marcus didn't need to be told what this meant. The Luton 4-8 system was far beyond known human territory, in the uncharted void where countless expeditions had met their end. If something out there had taken down the probe, it wasn't friendly. Marcus straightened, his decision made. "Prepare the Resolute for immediate departure. We're going to find out what happened to that probe." Elena looked up from her console, a flicker of guilt in her eyes. "Captain, if this was an attack..." "If it was an attack," Marcus interrupted, "we need to know who or what did it. And we need to be ready to respond." The crew moved with the efficiency of seasoned professionals, but an undercurrent of unease rippled through them. Rumors had circulated for years about an unseen force lurking in the depths of space, a force that annihilated anything that ventured too close. Those rumors now felt all too real. As the Resolute entered hyperspace, Marcus stood on the bridge, gazing out at the swirling void through the viewports. He was a man accustomed to the dangers of deep space, but this mission carried a weight that pressed on his shoulders. The silence between the stars had always been a comfort to him, but now it felt oppressive, as if something malevolent watched from the darkness. Elena approached, her usual confidence tempered by the gravity of their situation. "Captain, I've been reviewing the probe's last transmissions. There was an anomaly. Just before we lost contact, the probe picked up a signal. It's faint, almost like background noise, but it's definitely artificial." Marcus frowned. "A signal? From what?" "That's just it," Elena said, her voice hushed. "It's unlike anything we've ever encountered. The frequency, the modulation, it's alien." The word hung between them, heavy with implications. Humanity had always known it wasn't alone in the universe, but this was the first concrete evidence of a potentially hostile species. Marcus's mind raced, considering the possibilities. A first contact scenario under these circumstances could mean war, or worse. "Get everything you can from that signal," Marcus ordered, his voice low. "If they're out there, we need to know what we're up against." Elena nodded, already turning back to her station. As she worked, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that they were being drawn into something far bigger than themselves, something that could change the fate of humanity forever. The Resolute hurtled through hyperspace, carrying its crew toward an unknown and unseen threat, where the line between survival and annihilation grew thinner with each passing moment. The Resolute emerged from hyperspace with a shudder, the sudden deceleration pulling the crew from their tense silence. The vast expanse of Luton 4-8 loomed before them, an ominous tapestry of swirling gas giants and distant stars. But the system, for all its beauty, felt wrong, too quiet, too empty. Marcus O'Reilly stood at the helm, his eyes scanning the void as if expecting an ambush. The bridge was filled with the hum of machinery and the soft murmur of the crew, but underneath it all was an undercurrent of dread. Something was out there, lurking in the shadows. "Captain, we've located the probe's last known coordinates," Lieutenant Harris reported, his voice strained. It's completely gone, sir. Not even debris." Marcus's jaw clenched. "Can we detect any traces of what might have caused it?" Harris hesitated, fingers dancing over the console. There's a faint energy signature, but it's unlike anything we've seen before. It's almost as if the probe was erased. The word hung in the air, chilling in its finality. Marcus turned to Dr. Elena Carter, whose brow furrowed as she studied the data. What do you make of it, Elena? She didn't look up, her attention fixed on the readings. This energy signature is off the charts. Whatever did this has capabilities far beyond our own. If it's a weapon, it's precise and terrifyingly efficient. Marcus's mind raced. The implications were staggering, a force so advanced it could obliterate their technology with ease. His thoughts drifted to Earth, to the millions of lives that would be at risk if this threat reached their doorstep. We need answers, Marcus said, his voice resolute. Prepare a drone to scan the area. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with. The crew moved swiftly, the tension on the bridge thickening as they prepared for what might come next. The drone was deployed, a small, agile craft that zipped through the void, its sensors scanning the surrounding space. The monitors displayed the feed in real time, but the emptiness that stared back at them only deepened their unease. As the drone approached the probe's last known location, a sharp ping echoed through the bridge. Captain, we've detected something! Harris exclaimed, his eyes widening in alarm. Marcus leaned in, watching as the screen displayed a faint, flickering shape, a ship, massive and alien in design, hovering in the darkness. Its surface was sleek, black as the void, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. It was almost invisible, a shadow among the stars. Elena gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. That's not possible. It's using some kind of cloaking technology, one far more advanced than anything we've ever encountered. Marcus's heart pounded in his chest. This was no ordinary encounter. This was a confrontation with something far beyond their understanding. Can they see us? He asked, his voice low. We're not sure, sir, Harris replied, his fingers trembling over the controls. But given what they did to the probe, I wouldn't take any chances. Marcus nodded, making a quick decision. Power down all non-essential systems. We need to stay off their radar as long as possible. The bridge dimmed as the crew executed his orders, the tension rising as they watched the alien ship drift closer. It was a silent predator, circling its prey with calculated patience. Elena's voice broke the silence, shaky but determined. Captain, we can't stay here. If they detect us. I know, Marcus interrupted, his mind racing. But we can't just run either. We need to find out what they want, and how to stop them. As the alien ship loomed ever nearer, its dark shape filling the screen, Marcus knew they were standing on the edge of something monumental. The first contact had begun, and humanity's survival hung in the balance. The Resolute floated in the vast emptiness of space, a fragile beacon of hope against an unknown, unseen threat. The Resolute held its position, shrouded in darkness, as the alien ship drifted closer. The tension on the bridge was palpable, each crew member acutely aware of the silent predator looming outside. Marcus O'Reilly, ever the calm leader, felt the weight of every life aboard pressing down on him. He couldn't let fear dictate his actions, not when so much was at stake. Captain, they've stopped moving, Lieutenant Harris reported, his voice barely above a whisper. The alien ship had halted just beyond their sensor range, an unsettling stillness settling over the scene. Marcus glanced at the main display, where the alien vessel's outline flickered faintly. Are they scanning us? Harris shook his head. No signs of active scanning, sir. It's like they're waiting for something. Dr. Elena Carter's brow furrowed as she studied the readings. Or someone, she murmured, the thought sending a chill down her spine. The implication was clear. The aliens knew they were there and were giving them time to respond. But to what end? Marcus straightened, his mind racing through the possibilities. An alien ship of unknown origin, far beyond their technological understanding, had eradicated their probe and now lingered in the darkness, observing them. Every instinct told him to retreat, to get his crew to safety. But that would mean leaving the mystery unsolved, and worse, leaving Earth vulnerable to whatever these beings represented. Options? Marcus asked, his voice steady but urgent. Elena hesitated before speaking. We could try communicating. There's no guarantee they'll understand, but it's our best chance to avoid conflict. We could also power up the weapons, Harris suggested, though his tone lacked conviction. A show of force might make them reconsider any hostile intentions. No, Marcus said firmly, shaking his head. We can't afford to provoke them. But neither can we remain passive. He turned to Elena. Prepare a transmission, something simple. We need to know what they want. As Elena worked on crafting a message, the atmosphere on the bridge grew even tenser. Every second felt like an eternity, the alien ship hanging in the void, its intentions unreadable. Marcus watched the screen intently, willing the alien vessel to respond, to give them some clue as to what they were facing. Finally, Elena nodded. Message ready, Captain? Transmitting now. The seconds ticked by, and then, the response came, not in words, but in action. The alien ship emitted a pulse, a wave of energy that washed over the Resolute, causing the lights to flicker and systems to groan under the strain. Marcus's heart pounded in his chest as the ship stabilized, the pulse dissipating as quickly as it had arrived. Status? He barked, his eyes darting to the crew. Harris's fingers flew over the controls, his face pale. No damage, sir. But they've sent us something, coordinates. A location on the edge of the system. Marcus's eyes narrowed. They want us to go there? Elena studied the data, her expression conflicted. It appears so. But we have no idea what's waiting for us. It could be a trap. Or an opportunity. Marcus countered, his mind made up. He had to know what these beings wanted, and the only way to find out was to confront them on their terms. Plot a course, Lieutenant. We're going in. The bridge buzzed with activity as the crew prepared for the unknown. The alien ship remained still, a silent sentinel as the Resolute powered up and began its cautious approach. Marcus felt a knot of tension coil in his stomach, the weight of his decision heavy on his shoulders. This was the moment of truth. Whatever awaited them at those coordinates would determine the fate of his crew, perhaps even of humanity itself. As the Resolute moved toward the coordinates, the alien ship finally stirred, slipping back into the void as silently as it had appeared. Marcus watched it go, a sense of foreboding settling over him. They were committed now, with no turning back. Steady as she goes, Marcus ordered, his voice calm despite the turmoil inside. The crew obeyed, their focus sharp, as they neared the mysterious destination. The silence of space was broken only by the hum of the ship's engines, a fragile thread of hope in an ocean of uncertainty. And then, as they reached the coordinates, the stars around them shifted, revealing something massive, something ancient and powerful, waiting in the darkness. The Resolute emerged from the darkness into a scene of sheer awe. Before them floated a colossal structure, dwarfing anything humanity had ever conceived. The ship was an imposing monolith of metal and energy, its surface glistening with an eerie, pulsating glow. Marcus O'Reilly's breath caught in his throat as the enormity of what lay before them sank in. Captain, that thing's huge, Harris said, his voice barely a whisper as he stared at the view screen. His fingers hesitated over the controls, the sheer scale of the alien craft making their ship seem insignificant by comparison. Marcus nodded, his gaze fixed on the alien structure. Maintain course and keep shields at full power. We don't know what we're dealing with yet. Dr. Elena Carter was already at her station, her eyes scanning the incoming data with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. The structure doesn't appear to have any immediate defenses, but its energy readings are off the charts. We need to proceed cautiously. The Resolute glided closer, the massive alien vessel coming into sharper focus. Its surface was covered with intricate patterns and symbols that pulsed rhythmically, casting an ethereal light across the cold void of space. As they drew near, a series of docking bays became visible, each large enough to accommodate multiple spacecraft. Captain, I'm detecting a docking signal, Elena reported, her voice tinged with excitement. It looks like they're inviting us in. Marcus considered this for a moment. The idea of docking with such a massive and mysterious structure was both thrilling and terrifying. He turned to Elena. Prepare an away team. We need to investigate, but we'll go in armed and ready. Minutes later, Marcus, Elena, and a small team of security personnel suited up and boarded the shuttle. The vessel's engines hummed softly as they approached one of the docking bays, their path illuminated by the alien ship's pulsating lights. The bay doors parted with a groan, revealing a cavernous space filled with shadows. The shuttle touched down smoothly, and the team disembarked, their boots echoing on the metallic floor. The air was surprisingly still, the silence of the docking bay broken only by the faint hum of alien machinery. Marcus led the way, his every step filled with purpose. Elena followed closely, her tricorder scanning for any signs of danger or anomalies. As they ventured deeper into the structure, the walls seemed to shimmer with a living light, the symbols and patterns shifting as if alive. The sense of unease among the team grew palpable, their eyes darting to every flicker and shadow. Captain, this place is surreal, Elena said, her voice a mixture of awe and apprehension. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. Marcus nodded, his focus unwavering. Stay alert. We don't know what's waiting for us. Their path led them to a grand chamber, its vastness overwhelming. At the center of the chamber stood a towering pedestal, and atop it, a pulsating crystal orb bathed in a soft, blue light. The orb's light seemed to pulse in rhythm with the alien vessel's energy, casting a mesmerizing glow around the room. What is that? One of the security officers asked, his voice tinged with wonder. Elena approached the pedestal, her tricorder humming with activity. I'm not sure. It's emitting an energy signature we've never seen before. It could be a power source, or something else entirely. As Elena examined the orb, a series of holographic projections flickered to life around them. The projections displayed scenes of the alien race's history, battles, alliances, and moments of profound significance. It was a story of grandeur and struggle, a saga that spanned millennia. Marcus watched in stunned silence, his mind racing to grasp the implications of what he was witnessing. The aliens weren't merely a threat, they were a civilization with a deep, storied past. Their presence was an enigma wrapped in history and mystery. The holographic images coalesced into a final scene, an alien figure, regal and imposing, addressing an assembly of diverse species. The figure's voice echoed through the chamber, though the language was incomprehensible. The message was clear, however. The aliens sought something of great importance. Elena turned to Marcus, her face pale. Captain, this might be their message to us. They want us to understand their history, their struggle. Perhaps it's a way of reaching out, showing us that they're not just a threat. Marcus nodded, absorbing the weight of the revelation. The alien race was not mindless conquerors but beings with a purpose, a history, and perhaps a reason for their actions. Keep recording, Marcus said. We need to bring this information back to the Resolute. It's time we learn more about who we're dealing with, and why they chose to make contact with us. As they turned to leave, the chamber's lights dimmed, and the orb's glow softened. The message was clear, the story was not over, and the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. I promise you, nothing will happen to your finger.